Thank you, sir, for coming, and I'm glad you came, even though, you know, it's just an information, because I think it matters to the community to see you here and introduce yourself. Thank you. So I don't know what building you live in, but everyone here lives in a high-rise, okay? Everyone, okay? And I don't know if you can imagine, you know, standing by your window and then something happening like a shot coming in from somewhere you don't even know, okay? And the amount of terror that creates, okay, as that even being a remote possibility of anywhere, not even acceptable, of even being stupid, you know, and careless, okay? That's totally unacceptable. I'm sure you heard the same thing from the folks, you know, on the Upper East Side, you know, on this, okay? Totally unacceptable. Now, those things are hard to catch. We were lucky here because we had, you know, some information and whatever, but those inherently are hard to catch. Thus, and he's got 17 priors, well then I think you should be making the case, or the DA should be making the case, of an incredibly strong punishment for this, because there's got to be a message that, okay, you know, maybe I won't get caught, but I can go shoot off my gun. No, totally unacceptable. I'm not saying it's your fault, sir. But I think that message needs to get out there, you know, and the prosecution needs to be incredibly aggressive on this, and not a plea deal. You know, just prosecute the whole way to completion on this, because it's totally for the safety and comfort and sanity of our community. This is something that is terrorizing. Okay, and so you need to do something about that. Thank you.
So I want to address that. Whenever we pick up someone, obviously very violent person, violent priors, I'll actually call the DA. First of all, let me start off by saying we have very, very little control about what the police department has very little control over what happens when someone gets arrested and then goes to court. We can ask the DA not to offer, or, you know, ask for high bail to try to keep them in at arraignment. We can ask them to prosecute them aggressively. But the police department has very, very little control. Once we arrest them and drop them off at court, it's not much control. You know, at arraignment, you got the district attorney asking for high bail, you got the defense attorney asking for no bail, and then the judge, who's a political appointee most of the time, and you know, he decides whether this guy is going to get released on his recognizance, get a low bail set, or get a high bail set. So we have very little control over that. I do make conferrals when I see we locked up a very, very bad guy. I get the notifications right away. I'll call the DA's office and say, hey, this is a bad guy. Actually, I did it with the gentleman I was talking about late last year, the pattern burglar. As soon as we got him, because it was a pattern of burglaries, it was burglary after burglary. When we got him arrested, I called and I made sure that he was going to get prosecuted aggressively. He was already on parole for burglary. He just came back out and started doing the right thing. So, you know, I made the call anyway, but you know.
Well, if you can't do anything, then let us know so we can advocate for that.
So with this case, it received a lot of media attention. So the DA's office is gonna prosecute aggressively. Again, a lot of times it's left up to the judge. Sure, ma'am.
Hi, I'm in Westview, and I think what we've heard is that this is unanimous in Westview. And we're wondering if management, if there's anybody from the Westview management here present for this meeting, and if they have anything to say to the residents in that building.
Do we have anyone?
So I have a two-part question. One
well, wait, I didn't get an answer.
I don't think there's anyone here. I can tell you, myself and Chief McManus, we talk regularly. He has my number, I have his number. Same thing with his deputy chief, Kevin Brown. The lines of communication are open. I can't answer a management, you know, building management's question, you know.
Well, I just wanted to make that a
right. Yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone's here. Right. Right. I'm sorry, I skipped her.
So it's a two-part question. One is, you said he was a part of a group. How many of that crew also have weapons in our community? I mean, I think some of us were kind of stunned that, you know, I've heard of very few instances over the years where there's been a gun on the island, and one or two of them, they were off-islanders and not islanders. And that's one of those things, so we want to get a sense of how many people have guns on was also selling alcoholic beverages to young people on the island.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Is
Well, if he's selling alcoholic beverages to minor, that's probably the least of what he's doing. He's got some, he got some violent priors, robberies, assaults, in his arrest history. I can't tell you, in that crew, there are 15 crew members total. 14 of them reside, 14 of them reside in Roosevelt Island. They are largely inactive. The last one prior to this arrest was arrested in 2017. That was the pattern burglar. He was the last guy. Before that, no one from that crew was arrested until I think maybe early 2017 or 16. Largely inactive crew. Out of the 15 crews I have in the 114 precinct, this is probably one of the quietest crews. So again, I want to put everybody's fears to rest, which is why I didn't cancel the meeting. I can't tell you if they have weapons on them. I can tell you 4 out of the 15 have been arrested prior with a firearm. So 4 of the 15. I can't tell you how many of them still have firearms. I'd have to hit the search warrants in each. There's no way for you to know what they have in their apartment. But 4 out of the 15 have firearm arrests.
Yes, I'd like to direct this to public knowledge as well as everybody here. This is not the first violent incident that happened in that plaza. This is the 3rd in 3 years. 2015, when I moved by that car, people were drinking in the car, playing blasting music at 2:30 a.m. It's a problem out here. People, I came downstairs to ask them to turn it off. One of them came out of the car, pulled a gun on me, and threatened to murder me 3 times. Okay. And I was a new resident in 1 month. I walked in, called the police. They came out and gave my police report. 4 people in the car. One of them having a gun in his back, threatening to kill me. I took his pictures, said mandatory 3 years in jail with custody. Go for it. I saw Jack afterwards about it. I saw Brian afterwards about it. And I thought it was a one-off. I've been here a month. When I talked to the doorman told me that this is a giant drug plaza trouble. And they've been here 30 years. The first 15 years was quiet. The second 15 years it heated up. So I saw Jack again when someone was using marijuana near the playground. And the woman asked him to stop. It was near children. This was, what, a year ago? Something like that. A person, I think it was from Fort River Road, I'm not sure, a person using marijuana punched the woman in the face, then stole her iPhone so she could take evidence. And Jack told me he had priors, he's upstate somewhere now. But I brought that up to Jack because that's a major drug spot right there. I live on the 6th floor of River Road, and I've been very proactive in this. I talked to Jack, I said, bring more patrols to her. He did. When death started first thing down, I walked out the slam book. I said, here's a record. Every time I called down, no one responded. Start responding on emergency riot. Immediate response. Jack's been all over. I thank him for that. Watching from my balcony, I watched 3 drug dealers drive up. The other cars make drug deals over here. I called up, said, hey, you might not catch drugs, 3 triple parked cars. And he rouses them out. Then another time, 20 people out here smoking marijuana party. So I came by and I said, send somebody by. And I saw Jack afterwards again because his officer came up like, hey man, what's up? How's it going? And I said, I don't know what community policing standards are. That's not rousting somebody out. Now, people go, I was a captain in the Army, I know security as well. People go where you don't allow them to be. They go somewhere else. They cause their trouble somewhere else because they know, if I come here, I'll get in trouble. So now we have the 3rd incident, really 2 incidents now, gunfire right there. This place has a reputation right in between the 2. And until they know, I've sat out there when they come down and lighten up, I said, you might as well go. My name's Seth Feidig, right there in the building town. PSD, come get them. They ran away back at Fort River Road. So if you tell people there's trouble, they will leave. If there's regular patrols, they will leave. But I also have a question, which I'm going to bring up, probably solved here, but could be ignited here, which is what can the police and what can Manhattan Park do? My understanding, I talked with Jack today earlier, is that that plaza right there is under rental control of Manhattan Park. Correct. If we have on the rooftops grilled, they can't grill past 8. The new beautiful gardens he built can't be staying past 10. My question to bring up with legal for RIOC is, can we set a policy of a curfew here so that they can't come down at all? Secondly, there will be an expense to Manhattan Park. Could we get cameras or could we get a security guard from May 1st through October 1st to tell people it's closed past 10 p.m. Get out from applying the PSD. That will make this area a no-go area for people that have routinely, for what I understand, I've been here 3 years, definitely 3 years, 3, 4 if you count violent incidents. And if Manhattan Park doesn't do something about this, this is a warning of a good faith effort. That's your area to bring. If you don't do something like, God forbid, somebody gets shot, I'm gonna send a letter to you tomorrow about this, outlining it. Your CC, and your bosses.
Well, can I?
Do something about it, or else there's gonna be a major liability issue if something goes wrong, because I'm alerting you. There's a problem, and there's police reports and all those incidents.
Can I ask you a question? These are chronic, long-term issues that should be brought to the attention of the neighborhood coordination officers. Have you made them aware of that, or you just been?
I've always been working with Jack.
Okay.
Jack has been proactive. I can't speak.
I'm gonna make a note of it, you know, so we can have the NCOs patrol here a little bit more, and also again the steady sector on a 4 to 12 shift, which is our busiest tour. They're here. You can speak to them afterward, and you can.
I'm happy to. Whenever the drug dealer's coming in, I'm happy to call.
Right.
But I need to know who to call to make things happen.
Okay. If you got Enrico, can you see them afterward? All right.
If you come out here in about an hour and a half, you will notice that all of the lights on the walkway by the river are out, except for 1 or 2. And they've been out for months. It's very frustrating because I live in 40 River Road on the top floor. I can see that sidewalk. And there have been several times when people have either been congregated down there or doing something, but I can't see them. I don't know if they've got a pink backpack. I don't know if they're male or female. I don't know anything about who they are.
Have you brought this to management's attention?
It has been brought to them a number of times.
That's RIOC's territory.
Yeah. Lighting, I've seen, if you've got really, really bright lighting, it's almost as good as putting a police officer there.
And it's crazy. It's literally.
I would keep on your management. I can tell you, I did a midnight shift Thursday into Friday evening. We actually made an arrest over here. It was before you get to River Road. I think it was actually 4 River Road, maybe. Just south of 4 River Road. And
Behind the school.
I think it was down, before River Road starts, a little bit south. It was behind one of the Main Street buildings. We made an arrest. 2 guys out there drinking. You know, one guy had a warrant for drug possession. You know, obviously, you know, the riverfront's going to attract some of that type of activity. But yet, if you have poor lighting, I have that issue on the mainland, if you will, within the parks. But I would keep on top of management so they increase the lighting there. That's definitely a good idea.
Ma'am, I'll follow up tomorrow and see where it is in the RIOC. It should have gone to the maintenance folks. I'll make sure tomorrow.
Thank you.